In this video, we're going to take the normal distribution and we're going to apply the empirical rule percentages to it and break it into different chunks. So we'll find the percentage that would go here, 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 and here, for example. So to start, we know that 68% of the data will fall within one standard deviation of the mean. So we know that we could go from here to there, and that's going to be 68% of the data. So now how do we get this part right here, right? Well, we're going to take 68 and divide it by 2. So 68% divided by 2 will give us 34%. So this little section right here will be 34%, and this one will also be 34% because we have a symmetrical shape, right? So then I'm going to get rid of this just to clear our way. And we know also that from 2 standard deviations below the mean to 2 standard deviations above the mean, that area will be 95%. So I go all the way from the left side to the right side. That's going to be 95%. So again, we divide 95 by 2, and we are left with 47.5%. I'll put it up here out of the way. So then that means that from that mean all the way out to 2 standard deviations, that chunk right there will be 47.5. So if we take that 47.5 and then subtract the 34% that we already have, that difference will be 13.5%, and that'll fall right into that group. And then again, we could write it over here on the left side. So we have 34%, 13.5%. Now we're going to figure out this area over here, and we know that from 3 standard deviations below the mean to 3 standard deviations above the mean is 99.7%. So I'm going to take my line there, a little line here, 99.7% will run all the way to the right, all the way to the left. So from here again to here, that's going to be 99.7%. Once again, we divide that by 2, and we are going to be left with 49.85%. So then that means from the middle right here, from the mean all the way out to the edge, that's going to be that 49.85%. So now how are we going to use that to get this section right here? Well, we're going to subtract 34% and we're going to subtract 13.5% from this number right here. So if we subtract this and this from this number right here, we are going to be left with 2.35%. And then we could also write it on this side. So that's going to be 2.35%. So now we have all the chunks of the normal distribution that go from 3 standard deviations below the mean to 3 standard deviations above the mean. However, there's a little section there that I'm kind of scribbling over, and then a little section here that is not included there, but it's still underneath that curve. Remember, we need 100% of the data that is underneath the curve, and 3 standard deviations below to 3 standard deviations above is 99.7%. So there's still a little part on the edges. So how do we do that? Well, one last time, we would take that big number, 100%, we would divide it by 2. So we don't want to deal with 100% anymore. Now we have 50%. So from our mean all the way going out this way, that's going to be 50%. And then from that 50%, the top half of the normal curve, or everything underneath the normal curve, the top half, we're going to subtract 34 from 50. We're going to subtract 13.5 from 50. We're going to subtract 2.35 from 50. And then in this little section, that leaves us with 0.15%. And again, I could put it all the way on the left side too, 0.15%, and clean up all my information. And there you have it. All the different sections underneath the normal distribution are broken up into manageable regions. So you got 34% here. Between 1 and 2 standard deviations, you have 13.5%. Between 2 and 3 standard deviations, you have this one. And then at the very end, don't forget about it. It's easy to forget about it. 3 standard deviations above the mean and onwards is 0.15%, and then 3 standard deviations below the mean and lower than that, they're still 0.15%.